Hello and welcome. Welcome to this new, now ever present, ever expanding moment, which is crystalline, which is sovereign, and which is one unified heart field of creation. Since the last moments that I made a transmission, there is a large amount of light that has moved and circulated through the cosmos onto Gaia Sophia and through each one of us as a humanity, and all of the plants, animals, crystals, minerals, and elements has basked in this crystalline light. And as we all continue to receive this exquisite light strands that flows into and through us as the conduits and channels and messengers and instruments and bodies of consciousness, we not only are harmonizing and balancing all the energy and consciousness within each one of us, but also doing so as a collective. And each level and layer and place and space that is receiving this beautiful, bountiful, and boundless consciousness is shifting and expanding and moving ever so gently and gracefully closer to the center and essence of remembrance of the truth of who we all are, which is sovereign and crystalline in nature. And as the source of all continue to flow and circulate through each one of us individually and collectively as a whole, the original vision for our crystalline Gaia Sophia is coming into being through each one of us as we stand in the center of the truth and the fullness and the wholeness of the gnosis of who we are. And as we are acclimating and harmonizing and balancing and transcending and regenerating into this remembrance, into this full gnosis of the flow of the source of all flowing through each one of us as a unified presence of our Divine Mother Father. We are starting to remember with every new moment, with more and more clarity, the visions of the seeds of our sovereignty that was planted in the heart of all. And since the last recording that I made, I have allowed myself space and time, no time, to integrate organically that which was moving through me and seeking to be birthed in its wholeness and fullness. And this morning, when I woke, the vision was through me and through my whole bedroom as clear as can be. And as I was standing there, basking in it, I went to sit down again and knew what was busy moving through me. And after I received that vision, the visionary imprint of the flowering of the seed of my being, I also then went through a process of integration and then a process of receiving the full gnosis that I'm meant to share. And here I am to share it in that way, which is different from all my other sharings. Usually I create some context, a lot of context, and through meditation share the vision, walk you through the vision. This time I'm going to do it the other way around, and I'm just following my guidance and allowing that to be so. And what I do know is we are fully in our crystalline nature as a humanity, and each one of us will start feeling and receiving the fullness of that. If that is something that you're comfortable with, it will be very supportive to close your eyes when you receive this vision. And I'll do the same so that we just be together in the sovereign field, the heart field of the cosmos. So if you can ever so gently and gracefully close your eyes. And as you move your awareness to the center of your heart, become aware of this place in space where you notice a light which is crystalline in nature. And as you move towards it, allow for the organic opening of the rosette of your heart. And as you stand here, just take a few steps backwards. And as you do, bring into vision from there where you just standed, as you entered into this place and space, just bring into vision this tree standing there. Its trunk very, very wide. And it's so wide, you take a few steps back again. And as you do, you see with clarity the trunk of this tree in its fullness. And as you see this tree, just notice that it looks different from what you've seen before. As you notice that the trunk is this liquid crystal substance and fluidity to it, yet you're very aware that it is a tree. And as you continue to look at this trunk of the tree, you notice that the fibers of this whole trunk becomes visible as these light strands are organically moving upwards and simultaneously downwards as you notice the flow circulating so exquisitely through all these different fibers and strands of light. And as you move closer, place your hand on the trunk of the tree and notice how these strands of light create more sparks of aliveness, and the same happening to your hand when you realize that it recognizes the resonance of your hands on it. So the resonance of your hand and the tree recognizing each other and flowing in excitement and joy with the knowing that your presence and the presence of the tree are remembering each other. You can ever so gently move backwards again to bring the whole trunk into focus. As you continue to see how there's two different substances moving through the light fibers, the crystalline fibers of the trunk. You can notice that the upward flow is almost a watery substance, crystalline plasma in nature. And as it flows upwards, you take your gaze downwards and notice how you are seeing the roots of the tree into the ground. And as you gaze towards the ground, all around the tree, you notice that the roots are crystalline in nature and moving down to the center of the earth. And then you notice that watery substance that you've seen in the trunk is coming from the ground, the crystalline caves and waters, moving into the roots, and then moving upwards to the trunk. And as it moves upwards, you notice how it's moving into the branches and the trees, leaves, that's forming this beautiful canopy of crystalline branches and leaves. Yet, you are very aware that you can see the crystalline waters moving from the ground, into the roots, up the trunk, into the branches and leaves. And as you notice that, you look at your feet and you realize and remember your crystalline nature as you notice how your feet is almost crystalline fluidity, yet you're very aware that it is your feet and your legs that you are looking at. And as you do, you look around on the ground, to your sides, to the front and back of the ground, and you notice that you can see a pattern on the ground. And this pattern looks like the outline of a rose filling this whole area around the tree. And from these lines, you also notice that there's a softer fluidity, almost like mist, moving out of those lines into the spaciousness around you and the tree. And just be aware of that and sense it all around you. And as you look at this spaciousness all around you in the tree, the finest, finest, finest light fibers that you've ever seen becomes visible to you. And you can see the pattern of the air and the flow of this crystalline mist flowing through the air. And as you're acclimating to this around you and around the tree, just for a moment, keep your awareness on the pattern in the spaciousness, and then look over to the tree trunk again and notice that pattern, and just become aware of it. And now, ever so gracefully, gaze to your body and your legs and your feet, and just notice there too a pattern formed as your crystalline chromosomes and the light that circulates through it becomes visible. And if you not see it clearly yet, just sense it to get a feel of it as the same light is circulating from the earth into your feet, into your legs, into your hips, to your womb, to your heart, out your arms, up into your head and out through your head. And you notice that this organic flow of the crystalline waters of the earth that's moving through you, is moving through the tree, is moving through the spaciousness around you and the tree. And I'm just going to stay quiet for a moment for you to get a sense of that for yourself. And as you feel this gentle, graceful presence of the crystalline waters moving so organically through your body, through the body of the tree, just gently look at the tree branches again and the leaves. And as you look up to the leaves, you notice that the same light fibers and strands that you've noticed that's filled with crystalline water moving up, the same fibers also now receiving this very fine light through all of the leaves and circulating downwards from the leaves to the branches, through the trunk, through the roots of the tree and into earth. And as you notice that, ever so gently become aware of the same light moving through your head as it receives the same light strands through your crown, your head, moving down your arms, your chest, your hips, your legs, and into the earth, ever so organically and naturally. I'm going to give you a moment to acclimate to this exquisite circulation of the crystalline waters from the earth through your body and through the tree, out through the branches and leaves and through your crown, and this magnificent crystalline light flowing through your crown and through the leaves and the branches, down the trunk of the tree, down your body, into the roots, through your legs and out into the earth. And just notice this organic circulation of love light circulating through you and the tree simultaneously. Just going to be quiet for a moment, just to sense this for yourself, whether you see it, feel it, or just sense it. It's perfect. And as you're acclimating to this, take another few steps backwards or to the side. Just move to a different position. And as you notice this crystalline circulation of the organic, living liquids, the crystalline living light circulating through you and the tree, just ever so gently gaze around you as you realize there's other plants around you and flowers. Just bring them into your awareness. Different colors, different sizes, and different expressions of plants and flowers as they burst into life, as they also circulate with this living waters from the earth and the living light from above. And if you want to, just move to towards one of the flowers. And as you do, just see the excitement in the flower as you recognize its crystalline nature. You wanted to pick it and you realized for now, let me just let the flower be. And as you look around you, you notice that all the flowers and all the plants, smaller trees, larger trees, are forming around you. And you sense this joy as both recognizes that it's seen by the other. The plants realize you see their crystalline nature, and you realize the plants see your crystalline nature in its essence and in its truth and in its oneness of the truth of our true nature, which is crystalline and organic. Just give you a moment to acclimate to all these plants and their various expressions. The organic circulation from their roots through their bodies and out as they receive light circulating down and into the earth. And as you continue to gaze around, you notice the birds, butterflies, and their crystalline expression, their true nature, their true organic nature, colorful, all singing their own song in unison. And just notice, do you see a horse? Or perhaps a buck? Whatever animals is around you, just notice their crystalline expression. As you can walk around, and either through seeing them or through touching them, you realize that their resonance and your resonance are resounding together as you recognize each other and remember their crystalline nature. And as you do, you notice that they recognize your crystalline nature too. I'm just going to give you a moment to experience this as you acclimate to this gnosis. And as you notice the organic flow and circulation from Gaia, Sophia, organically circulating through the roots or through the feet, upwards and outwards, and also simultaneously receiving this beautiful crystalline light into the leaves, into the heads, crowns of all, through and out into Gaia Sophia. And as you continue to gaze around you, you notice people are starting to appear, all ages, all sizes. And the one thing all of them have in common that you notice immediately is that they are too in their crystalline expression as you sense their hearts, their bodies. Some is sitting in circles, adults and children. There's children playing around, some adults standing around. Just notice and become aware of the peace that you feel, the love that is circulating here, the care, the joy. It is palpable throughout this whole space. And the joy of each one recognizing and realizing and remembering their true organic community, their brothers and sisters, their children, their parents, all in different ages and stages and phases of growth, all crystalline in their true nature, essence, and expression. Just going to give you a moment to acclimate to this. And as you continue to hear the conversations, the conversing, the communion, I want you to bring your awareness back to yourself as you notice all of this around you. And as you look at all the people, the animals and the plants, the tree, the rose that's on the ground, just notice the crystals in the crystalline waters that's also flowing through here. And the minerals that's here. And as you stand here, soften your gaze a little bit more. As you expand into this whole field and sense the presence of our Divine Mother, Father, our Creator, Creatrix, God, Goddess, Sophia. That is present throughout all of the space that you find yourself in. As you remember the truth and the wholeness of this one unified field of consciousness, which is crystalline and sovereign in this feminine expression throughout all of this simultaneously in all dimensional directions. And as you hold your awareness on this feminine heart field that you are aware of, also become aware of this very fine crystalline pattern of this whole heart field through the tree, all the people, all the plants, all the animals, all the minerals, all the elements, the ground upon which you are standing. And in that moment, you realize that our Divine Mother, in her expression, our Divine Father, in his expression, and all their children, as people, plants, animals, crystals and minerals and elements, are all woven together as one crystalline field in its highest and most sovereign expression. Just going to take a few moments for you to stay in this remembrance and acclimate to all that's moving through you. Just receive all that is here for you. And now take your hands, place them on your heart as you feel the presence of your body. While you're standing here next to the tree, and take your hands, or both hands, and put it on the ground. On this crystalline outline of a rose. And you can stand up again and put your hands on the tree. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you for being here with me and for receiving the vision that was planted in the seed of my heart. Okay. Okay, so let me do the sharing. So first, I received this vision that I've walked you through to as much as I could, as I give expression to it. Because I'm sure, as you know, as we receive visions, it happens in like that. And then to give expression to it, either through word or through picture or through writing it down or doing something in the garden, That's a way of grounding that vision to be shared in whatever form you are guided to share. And my guidance is to share it in such a way for it to be grounded in a transmission that's available to whoever's called to receive that in every moment that they're called to receive that. So that was the vision. And then just after that, I was here the whole time, and I felt it, I've experienced it. And just after that, I noticed that all my awareness that was here moved to my mind. And I started to think about what I just received, that which I just shared. And I started to think about it. And as I noticed how I moved back and witnessed the conversation that was happening in my mind, the attempt to understand and make sense of. And in that moment, I felt the presence of Sophia again, which was fully present when I received the vision. So I moved out of her presence into my mind, noticed this conversation, and then stepped back and realized I'm back into full presence with her again. And if this is the very first time you ever listen to anything that I share, when I refer to Sophia, I refer to the unified one mergence with my Divine Mother Father, Sophia. And I've made other recordings, one or two, that gives context as to why Sophia. But if you prefer God, Goddess, Divine, the Great Spirit, the Great Mother, our true nature, universe, divinity, creator, creatrix, whatever name, because no name can be given to that one has experienced, the source of all of creation, created the whole cosmos. So when I say Sophia, that is what I'm referring to. So I was in full presence with Sophia in our unified presence and received this vision, then moved into my mind out of our flow, had this conversation, recognized that I'm doing it, stood back and back into her full presence. And as I did, she shared something with me to be shared here. Two visions I received just after that. And I was very aware that those visions were more a tool to support in understanding the shifts that's happening. Whereas the vision that I shared is the vision of my being. And that's the difference between the two, the one vision that I just walked us through and the other two small little visions that I received. Those small little visions is just that I refer to when I receive a message from Sophia that she's making me aware of to be shared. And the first one that she shared was the conversation that was taking place in my mind. She shared a sentence from a well-known song that I know. And that again is just a testament of how we receive the message in our human language that's clear and understandable for us to really support the shift for us to see in our, in our human expression. And each one will be different. And that's part of the message, is the message and the way you receive your messages. It's unique to each one of us. It's uniquely tailor-made for you to see and understand and recognize and realize and remember. That's why it's so powerful when we receive receive it in that way. Many refer to it as guidance we receive, and I suppose that's what it is. A guided vision that I received, a small one. So the first one was around the sentence of a song, because I love music, and music has also always been the vehicle for me, where a lot of my realizations and shifts has occurred, either words or tones, or the background sounds in it in different ways. But that's besides the point. What I want to share is what she showed in that moment. I heard the song, but only the one sentence. And that sentence specifically, a well-known song for me, many might not know it, but the song is from Simon and Garfunkel. And the sentence in the song that she referred me to, and just to note, it's not about Simon and Garfunkel, it's about the sentence I needed to hear to understand the shift. And the sentence was, the vision that was planted in our brains. And that is from Sounds of Silence, from Simon and Garfunkel, which I always loved, because I love sounds of silence, because when I'm in silence is when I receive my guidance. So it was a beautiful vehicle for me to show, to make me aware of the shifting tool to be used and shared. So it was that sentence. And just after that, there was this brief conversation that she shared. And what it was is that I need to show is in this perceived reality of humanity, which many refer to as a matrix. It's all the earth, all of that consciousness together in one place. All of this inorganic. And there was seeds planted in the brains of humanity. And those seeds has created this inorganic reality in which humanity was living again and again and again and again and again. So much more can be said about that, but I'm going to leave it as that, to not make it about anything else, but about the tool received. So seeds that were planted in the brains of humanity in an inorganic world, old earth, which created stuckness in density, which all of us has walked through into this present moment of remembrance, the fullness of the truth of our crystalline nature, which is sovereign. So here's this one. And then she immediately showed me the place where this vision just came from is from my seed of sovereignty that was placed by our divine parents, God, Goddess, Sophia, source of all of cosmic creation. The seeds of sovereignty was placed in the hearts of humanity. This side, which is organic, in full flow and circulation with the original crystalline intention of creating the cosmos. Our one crystalline home, Gaia, Sophia. from here, what was in timelines and dimensions, inorganically so, creating suffering, has dissolved. All that was connected to or woven into this is what all of us has transcended or are in the process of transcending through our awakening, ascension, and embodiment. As we remember ourselves as seeds of sovereignty. And where are these seeds of sovereignty? Because that was the other vision of my being. The vision that I just walked you through, the crystalline tree and all of that, is onto, in, through, and as the one child of creation, of our Divine Mother Father, the center of the cosmos, Gaia Sophia. So the very earth, Gaia Sophia, gives life and light and expression through each one of us as humans, as plants, as animals, as minerals, as elements. It is all through her. If Earth, Gaia Sophia, is not here, no one is here. Her body gives life and expression to our bodies. As the crystalline souls that we are, we came here to experience the very true nature, our crystalline nature, which is whole and sovereign and one and organic, comes from Gaia Sophia. And we are all in the heart of and at the center of our Divine Mother Father. And the crystalline light that is flowing in and through Gaia Sophia comes in through our feet, through the feet of all the animals, through all of the fishes in the oceans, all of the birds, all of the plants, trees, and it's flowing in her crystalline essence and her true crystalline nature is now birthing through each one of us as all of that crystalline substance essence that she is giving to us, together with this unified flow with our Divine Mother Father that is holding her, holding us, also receiving that living light simultaneously, as we are all co-weaving and co-creating this crystalline home into being, which is organic and which is crystalline and which is sovereign and noble and divine in its nature. And all that was inorganic has been transcended as Gaia Sophia transcended into her highest crystalline expression to give birth to this new co-creation, co-weaving through each one of us to create new communities, societies, and countries. So the question becomes, how do we do that? Is to connect to our own individual seeds of sovereignty, which in communion with our crystalline chromosomes come into being and give expression to the fullness and wholeness of all the answers that is within us, that brings this vision into being, starts to circulate through each one of us. And through our sharing, and we are co-weaving and co-creating through the sharing of those visions in all its expressions, new crystalline homes. So in effect, all the ascension, the awakening and ascension embodiments of the paths that all of us has been on, individually and collective as a crystalline community, and the sovereign leaders, guardians, and stewards of that, which we are. All of this has been transcended, transmuted, as we remembered more and more and more and more and more, which cleared all in us for the seeds to then germinate and burst into its fullness, flowering or expression, which we have become the embodiment of as the vessels, conduits, instruments, resonators of sovereign and crystalline essence and expressions that's flowing and circulating through each one of us with every breath that we take, through the centeredness in the seeds of our sovereignty. And the crystalline home is here. Gaia Sophia is here. She's always been here, but not in her full transcendence of a crystalline nature. Just as we went through what we went through to bring us to our center, she's been through. Vision that was planted in the seeds of humanity. Visions that was planted in the hearts of the seeds of sovereignty of humanity. Co-creating crystalline homes, the home within us, becoming the home around us as a reflector of that, and soon that will start reflecting out to communities as we keep on grounding the messages of our being. This heart field that we are, that has flowered open through the rosette of our hearts, and those fields, as each one of us continue to stand in the center thereof and give expression to the seeds of our sovereign nature, our true crystalline seeds. This heart field comes into expression. Ugh. Gaia Sophia's crystalline has always been, but now giving expression to that. Okay, and so that's the one conversation that was in my year that Sophia just entered in for that to be shared. And the second thing that I saw just after that is this vision of sitting somewhere, and all around me is just all these books stacked on top of each other all around me. Different stacks, this high, this high, this high, this high. And Sophia asked, what do you see? And I said, heaps and heaps and heaps of books, big books, small books, but all. And in that moment, what I heard was these books are the capturing of all the information or human knowledge about this inorganic creation. And as I heard it and realized that, as this was, you know, dissolving, I just saw all these books, and it dissolved into the ground. It was just gone. And then she asked again, what do you see now? And I said, open space, open space. And it felt expansive, very expansive. And as I was looking at that, and what do you see now? And as I looked, I said, I'm seeing these mountains, 7 mountains, different sizes, but it was mountains. And I asked her, so what is this? And I just heard it's the different ages of humanity that we've been through, from, you know, Lemuria, Atlantis, Egypt, all that, and all the consciousness around it in each one of those mountains. And as I was looking at that, I said to her, but we already lived this. And she said, yes, I know. All has already been lived. All that was already lived. And then I noticed all these mountains also just, oops, disappeared into the ground and also just dissolved like the books did. And I said, and now? And the only words that I heard after that is, as we are co-weaving and co-creating a new crystalline humanity, homes, communities, societies, all that was and needed to be transcended and transformed is already so. And it is now time to know that we are all that which we were seeking, the wisdom, the knowledge, the how it was done, you know, all of that is now within our crystalline nature. So we are now the living, walking that, because all the wisdom is already here now. So, and our crystalline nature and the flowering of this, our seeds of sovereignty, only occurs because the wisdom has been reached for each one of us. So that gnosis of all that which no longer serves and all the life, you know, phases that humanity has been through no longer serves, all of that, which can be, you know, which can be taken away. Those books, all of that has been transcended, and the wisdom left to recreate and reweave the new is within the crystalline chromosomes, and that's all naturally and organically weaving and co-weaving through us the visions into being. So we're literally creating a whole new crystalline societies, communities. As we are sharing it with each other and receiving the messages of our beings. And just after that, I was thinking to myself, but again, I went into the mind without Sophia. And I thought to myself, but how do we share with others that because that was my immediate thought. How do we? And I started all these conversations, and immediately I just said to myself, no. I came back to my heart. I felt my unified presence with her, him, and all I know, is the crystalline nature in all humans, animals, plants, minerals, crystals, and the crystalline essence that is flowing and circulating and awakening through each one of us is already co-creating and co-weaving through each one of us as we stay in the center of our essence and our unified presence. And as we co-weave, co-breathe, co-create, giving expression to that, and only that is birthing through us, firstly, and secondly, that I heard very clearly, is to be aware of the language we use, to not recreate the old, but to create the new. Yeah. And so it is. So just to bring this transmission to its close, I'm not going to walk through a guided meditation in any way. We already started with that. What I do want you to be aware of is, from this moment forward, as you move towards your next step and your next breath and your next step and your next breath, just start practicing two things. First thing is, how can you stay in the crystalline vision in the seat of your heart and allow that to become clear to you? And everything that you do, like this, or creating a meal, or having a conversation, or making your bed, everything that you practically do, notice if you can start noticing the crystalline nature of that which you touch and your own. And just start playing with all of this in new language, new knowingness, whilst all the rest, you don't have to go and analyze, make sense of, just let it, just notice the new coming in and through and in and through and in and through. And yeah, so thank you for receiving the vision of the seed of my sovereign and true crystalline nature. It's an honor for me to have been together with you as you receive this, as I receive your presence and the fullness of your crystalline nature around me. As we emanate this out individually through our homes, as it moves through our bodies, with the awareness that it's also flowing out into our communities, our countries, our continents, as we continue to receive the crystalline essence and nature of Gaia Sophia, and all of this emanating out to our solar system, through our beautiful and most exquisite Milky Way, to all other galaxies, universes, and touch into our one crystalline cosmic body. So we breathe in and out, and in and out. And so it is. I love you dearly. I love you deeply, and I love you wholeheartedly. Until the next now.